Welcome back to another exciting episode of Dentside Depot. Today we're going to be going over my 1979 F250 Ranger XLT Supercab two-wheel drive truck with a Crown Vic swap. I purchased this truck earlier this year in 2023, actually out of Buffalo, believe it or not. This is a rust-free truck from Buffalo. It was allegedly a township-owned truck with a flatbed on it, and I do have a picture of it before it had this bed on it. But to find a Supercab truck that is complete, that has no rust on it, and a bed from Arizona, when you find something like that, you go and grab it if you can, and that's exactly what I did. So let's start here in the front, and then I'm going to go over all the great things about this truck. Looking at the front wheelbase, for me, this is just slightly too far forward. Maybe you like this personally, but I personally do not. I think it's slightly too far forward. The Jade Interceptor sits about a ½ inch back from where this is. So what we're going to do in this episode is we are going to actually dismantle this entire truck. The cab, the bed, the front clip, the subframe, the rear axle, and everything else is going to come off of this truck. We're going to do an investigation. We're going to see where the centering dowel pins went on this particular subframe, and then we will go from there. Now, the gentleman that I purchased this truck off of certainly could have finished it if he wanted to, but he chose not to. And unfortunately for this particular truck, it is going to be a complete part out. I am not going to build this particular truck. I purchased it specifically to build one of my X36 Rangers, and that is what is going to happen with this truck. The paint on it may look very nice in the video, and it is very nice in real life. But there's definitely some spots on it that is not so nice. So I'm undecided what I will do with that. Probably do some touch up, just leave it the way it is, because the truck I'm going to build with this truck is going to be an outside truck anyway. Another great thing about this truck is it's one of my favorite color combinations. The dark blue with the silver metallic two-tone, I think, is one of the most attractive colors that you can get. So that was another thing that really made me want to get this truck, along with the fact that it is an XLT and it has all of the best options on it that you want to see, which we will go over here shortly. Starting from the back, we have a bed that was allegedly from Arizona, and I believe it because it's very rust-free. It's already set up for camper special trim. It's already set up for 2-tank, which is perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Another reason that I jumped on this truck as soon as I could, and you can see there's no rust in the wheel wells, so I'm very happy with that. There's some minor spots inside of the bed that will need some repair, but it's nothing that's a big deal. You can get the bed floor pan replacements and just do little chunks at a time. That's probably the worst spot. So you're talking a 6x6 inch or maybe a 6x10 inch repair. Maybe replace the back panel, I don't know, but I don't want this truck to be perfect body-wise anyway, so I'm completely fine with the way it is. First option this truck has that I wanted, it has rear cargo convenience light. It has tinted glass, and you can see it has all the original car-light glass in it, which for me is very important. I like to see all car-light glass, and that's what this truck has, and it's all the correct tinted car-light glass, which is excellent. Obviously the cab has the camper special trim on it, which is what I needed. And the truck I'm going to build, the XLT, is actually going to be an upgrade because that X36 is only a Ranger. But that doesn't bother me. I'd rather have a higher trim option. Underneath, here's what we got. And I'm going to cut really quick and grab a flashlight. Okay, so here's what's going on under here. Just like the Jade Interceptor, similarly installed Crown Vic swap components. The gentleman who was building this truck, I believe he had it set up for a 460. Mine is very close to this, but it is slightly different. Mine being slightly farther back. So that's what we have going on under here. Another great thing about this truck, it's an air conditioning truck, which is something else you want to see. It also has security group, so it has the hood lock, which is another thing that you want to see. You can also see that the truck still has the camper special relay and the camper special equipment still on it. All of this will be retained and swapped over to the other truck along with the cruise control. To get everything that you want in one shot, is extremely difficult to do. I mean, the truck literally had every single part that I wanted to swap over to the X36. So there was no doubt that I was going to go and get it. You can see all Carlite glass, except for the front windshield was replaced, but it's PPG, so that's the best, and it's tinted. So I have no issue with that. But everything else is Carlite. You can see this bedside is similarly just as good, with absolutely no rust at all. It did not come with the tailgate, but that's okay. I have a Ford stamped Dennis Carpenter tailgate that I'm going to put on this truck. And obviously the bed will be painted to match. Before we go inside the truck, I actually have the seat for it right here. That is the correct XLT seat. It is in incredible condition. It has a few stains on it. It just needs to be cleaned, but it looks absolutely great. So no issues with that. Okay, so let's go inside of the truck. All right, so inside the truck we have tilt wheel, cruise control, delay wipers, dual fuel tank. This truck was AM/FM stereo radio, but it's missing, and the dash is the wrong color. But you can see the floor is perfect. Couple small spots, and that's really about it. I do have the rear seat for it as well. So what we're going to do is we are going to cut here. We're going to get it up on the lift, and I'm going to start taking this truck apart, and you will see that whole process, and we'll figure out what happened with the front subframe and where that gentleman placed it. I hope you enjoy this episode. Okay, so we got the bed off. Bed looks pretty nice. I got it up against the wall for temporary storage. Here's what we got so far. Next on how the Crown Vic swap looks. It's still tough to say exactly where it's centered, but we will find out soon because we are going to pop the cab off right now and let's see what it looks like. All right, cab is off. Let's see what we got here. This is my first time seeing it. So this frame actually looks really good. I'm probably going to harvest every single bracket off of the middle of the frame because the two-wheel drive and the four-wheel drive brackets, almost all of them are identical. So I'm going to take most of them off of this, including the cab mount, front and rear cab mount brackets, and they will be reused. And honestly, this frame will get scrapped at that point, unfortunately, even though it is a nice frame. And then I will sell the Crown Vic swap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the cab up the rest of the way, and then we're going to pull this. I'm going to get the engine hoist on the frame here, and we're going to pull the Crown Vic suspension off, and we're going to see where this one was centered. All right, so I got the transmission out, frame pushed back, everything unbolted. Let's look under the cab really quick. Under the cab looks really good. There are a couple spots. Small little spot right there. Looks like a repair that wasn't really done the way I would personally do it. But the cab mounts look really good. Obviously I'll have to cut the center section out like I did on the Junior Mint project for four-wheel drive. Floorboards look good. I would like to get whatever that undercoating off is and get POR on there. Little spot right there. Everything on this side looks good. And where the rear forward facing seat goes, it looks like there's a little issue there, so I'll probably cut that out from the inside and replace that from the inside and pull it up with a couple screws and re-weld it. I don't think that'll be a problem. Cab corners look good, so no issues with that. There might have been a repair at some time. You can see a little welding wire So this truck's definitely been painted, there's no doubt about that. I knew that going into it. But this project's gonna be sitting outside when it's done, so it wasn't necessarily something that I was too concerned about. But it still is the factory colors for this truck. Not that it matters at this point. Okay, so I have the engine hoist set up here, and what we're going to do is we are going to lift this off of the Crown Vic frame, and we're going to see where this one ended up being centered. If we can, it might be difficult to see, but we're going to find out here. All right, those are holding. I didn't think they'd hold that much. So I'm gonna loosen up the upper control arms and then we'll see if it slides out. All right, take two. Got the upper control arms out. Went ahead and zipped the lower ones out as well at the same time. Let's see what we got here. There you go. Motor mount was in the way. All right, let's get this up and figure out what went on here. I've been very curious to see what decision was made with this particular truck. Now I'm going to throw the Crown Vic suspension back in after I take this shot because I'm going to roll it out and strip this frame of everything useful, and essentially that'll be it for this truck, unfortunately. Okay, well there it is. So it's kind of hard to tell, honestly, but it doesn't look, let's see here. Honestly, it doesn't look like it's that much different from where I did mine, to tell you the truth. The Jade Interceptor anyway, I'm referring to. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I would still say it's probably about a ½ inch forward, but generally speaking, it's pretty close. My boxes were closer in than this one is. Looks like this side is farther out than this side, maybe a little bit, and I boxed mine in all the way. So it is slightly different, but I would still say that the Jade Interceptor is probably a ½ inch back from what this particular truck is. Not that it matters, because this truck's life has now come to an end. I hate to do that to a truck, but there's better trucks that need to be saved than this one. I really could care less about a Crown Vic swapped Supercab. It's just not something I'm interested in. So we're gonna harvest this truck for all its parts, body harvest, bracket harvest, and everything else, all the good options that this truck has. That's just the way it goes. Junior Mint was like 5 trucks to put that one together. That's just the way it is. You take the best parts off of all the parts trucks that you have and you put together a nice truck, and that's just the way it goes. This is essentially what I do here at Dentside Depot, is I find really good 2-wheel drive trucks with good bodies, hopefully even with good frames so I can get brackets off of them. I find rare and desirable 4-wheel drive trucks that have bad bodies. I remove the bad body, I replace it with the good body from the 2-wheel drive truck, and I harvest everything I can from the 2-wheel drive truck to put on the 4-wheel drive truck or a future project. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe. We have more great trucks coming up. I know this was technically a parts truck, but it's definitely a cool parts truck, or was a cool parts truck anyway. Not gonna film taking the brackets off, that's easy. It's just grinding down the rivets and popping them out. But if you like my content, please like and subscribe, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you.